What's up, guys? I'm LQ. This is the LQ review, and hope you're having a great second day of 2020. I know I'm not having a bad day. I just got back from the comic book store, and I got the new Star Wars Volume 3, Number 1. Definitely looking forward to reading that. I got a couple other things here, including I found a Die Hard Year 1 graphic novel. Got it for a buck 99, guys. A buck 99. Awesome. Well, I'm here right now to talk about my top 25 most anticipated movies of 2020. Top 25. So, before I start, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I put out a lot of content. Want to make sure that you're up to date with everything that I'm doing. But that being said, let's just dive right into this list. And it's not going to be very I'm not going to spend a lot of time on each movie, but I do want to make sure that I talk about them a little bit. So number 25 on my top 25 most anticipated list is Snake Eyes. Yeah, I'm a child of the 80s, so G.I. Joe was a franchise and a property I spent a lot of time with. I remember when the original G.I. Joe movie came out in the 80s. I think it was like 86, 87. I loved it. It was so scary with those snake guys. But the new G.I. Joe movies didn't do a lot for me, not even the one with The Rock. But it's G.I. Joe, so color me intrigued. Number 25 is Snake Eyes. Number 24 is Minions: The Rise of Gru. Now, I didn't care for the Minions movie that much, but I'm a big fan of the Despicable Me movies. Gru is a character that, for whatever reason, I get the guy. I get him. A lot of people say I look like Gru with the big nose and the bald head and the skinny arms and big body, even though I'm not fat. Shh. um, yeah, Gru's just a character that I get. So seeing his origin story in this Minions movie, yeah, I'm down with it. Let's check it out. That's number 24. Number 23, Sonic the Hedgehog. So say what you will about the fact that it's gone through a whole bunch of behind-the-scenes drama, redesigns, etc., etc. It's still a property I'm interested in, and it's still a movie that I'm looking forward to checking out. And Jim Carrey, love the guy. I still love the guy, so looking forward to seeing what he brings to that role as well. Number 23, Sonic. Number 22 is Candyman. So Candyman is a franchise that I like the first one, and then they made a bunch of sequels that sucked. They just weren't good. But the premise of Candyman is one that resonates with somebody from my era. I remember when I was a kid, we talked about Bloody Mary, we talked about the Candyman, we talked about that type of demonic entity, and Candyman is one that resonated, and they made a movie about it. So Jordan Peele taking this over has me excited. All right, Twilight Zone was great. Get Out was great. Us sucked. Shh, it did. Us blew. But Get Out was great. Twilight Zone was great. I can't wait to see Candyman. That was Candyman at 22. 21 is Onward. It looks fun to me. Onward looks fun. Now it also could be trash. It also could be one of the rare Pixar misses. Extremely rare. But for whatever reason, Onward looks good. Now, full disclosure here, Soul isn't even on my top 25 list. I don't know. It just seems a little too. I don't know what the word is I'm looking for. It seems like a lot for a kid's movie. Soul does. And you know what? Inside Out did, and Inside Out was wonderful. So Soul might end up being wonderful as well. But I'm not enthused about it enough to put it on my list. But Onward I am. Onward looks like it's fun, especially the little unicorns they treat like vermin. I think that's hilarious. So that's 21. Number 20 is Top Gun Maverick. All right, so yeah, I'm a child of the 80s, but for whatever reason, Top Gun, while I liked it and I've seen it a lot of times, it's not one of those movies that I list amongst my all-time favorites. But I've seen it a lot of times, and I'm very familiar with it, so I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what they bring to Top Gun Maverick, to be sure. So that's 20. Number 19, kind of like Top Gun, is No Time to Die, the new James Bond movie. I've seen all the Bond movies. I'm not like a Bond head, right? I'm not a huge James Bond fan. I'll go see it. I've seen every James Bond movie. Spectre was kind of a dud for me. I know some people who like Spectre, and if you do, that's great, but Spectre was kind of a dud for me. As good as Skyfall was, as good as some of the other Daniel Craig movies were, Quantum of Solace was okay, Casino Royale was pretty good, So as good as some of those were, Spectre was kind of a dud for me. So that took some of the wind out of my sails for No Time to Die, but I'm still looking forward to it. It's my number 19. Number 18, The Jungle Cruise with The Rock and Emily Blunt. Both of these actors are on fire right now. The Rock and Emily Blunt, and I love the concept of the Jungle Cruise. It reminds me a lot of the Pirates of the Caribbean concept, taking something that is familiar to us and putting a supernatural bent in it. So definitely looking forward to it. Let's bring that Disney magic to the Jungle Cruise movie, that Pirates of the Caribbean magic from the first movie. Bring it to this, and we're all going to have a lot of fun with the Jungle Cruise. That's number 18. Number 17 is the Fast and the Furious 9. It's kind of low on the list. You know, a lot of people might be surprised that it's at number 17, but I'm still looking forward to it, right? The Fast and the Furious franchise, it's had 9 movies now. The 9th Fast and Furious movie will be the 10th movie. And anytime you got that many movies, you're going to have some duds. And there's been some duds in the Fast and the Furious franchise. But when it's good, it's great. And I'm definitely looking forward to seeing and hoping that this 9th one is great. So it's number 17. Number 16 is the MCU movie, The Eternals. I'm not very familiar with The Eternals, just being real. I've got 5,000 comic books in this room. Not one of them is an Eternal comic book. So I'm not very familiar with it, but in Feige we shall trust, and I'm trusting that he's going to put together something great, something fun, something that's going to add to the overall MCU. And I've read that this takes place over the course of thousands of years. I think that's intriguing. So definitely looking forward to seeing the Eternals. Can't wait to see the first promotional art, the first trailer for it, the first poster. Definitely looking forward to all that. But in the meantime, it's at number 16. Number 15 is Tenet. Christopher Nolan. A lot of people love Christopher Nolan. I love Christopher Nolan. But to be honest with you, Dunkirk, I didn't love it. You talk about some of his big movies, Inception. It was a great movie to watch once. I have a hard time revisiting Inception because it's so slow. So yeah, he makes great movies, but they're not always great repeat movies. Like, I'm glad I saw Dunkirk, but it's not a big repeat movie for me. Outside of his Dark Knight movies, I don't find myself wanting to revisit a lot of Christopher Nolan movies. And maybe you do, and that's great. But I just don't. But I'm definitely looking forward to Tenet because I've never really walked out of a Christopher Nolan movie not liking it. I've just walked out and said, man, I'm glad I saw that. It'll be years before I see it again. So Tenet, maybe it'll be on the Dark Knight side where it's a movie that I revisit a lot. But recently, Christopher Nolan has kind of been a little slow for me. Number 14, Mulan. Mulan looks phenomenal. Mulan looks phenomenal. I mean, it looks like they're paying so much respect to the culture, to the story. And in the last trailer, I was shocked. They added supernatural elements in the last trailer. I thought they were going to stay completely away from that, but they're not. And that's fantastic. So Mulan looks great. It looks like they're paying so much respect to it. Yeah, it's not going to be a musical, but you can still hear those same musical cues in it. At least in the trailer you can. So Mulan's number 14. Number 13 is The Conjuring 3, The Devil Made Me Do It. You know, a lot of people might be surprised that The Conjuring 3 is so high on my list, but The Conjuring and The Conjuring 2 were great. I completely understand if you don't like some of the Annabelle movies, or if maybe you thought The Nun wasn't a very good movie, or The Curse of La Llorona, or whatever. But the main Conjuring movies have been great, 1 and 2. So why would we imagine for a second that Conjuring 3 is not going to be just as great? So I'm definitely looking forward to the third Conjuring movie. That's number 13. Number 12 is another horror movie, and it is Halloween Kills. So technically, I guess it's Halloween 3 in this current timeline. There's been lots of Halloween timelines, but in this timeline, it's Halloween 3. So you have Halloween, then you have Halloween 2018, 2017? And then you have Halloween Kills. And yeah, I love the Michael Myers movies. Literally every single Halloween movie that they've ever made, even the bad ones, I get some enjoyment out of. Because I just like the Michael Myers movies. So definitely looking forward to Halloween Kills, seeing how he survived being trapped in that basement, seeing the continuation of Laurie Strode's story. Sign me up. I'm there. That's my number 12. Number 11 is one that I haven't seen any promotional material for. Not a poster, not a picture, nothing other than a synopsis, other than a title card. And that is Raya and the Last Dragon. But let me tell you why it's so high on my list. Because Disney Animation has been killing it lately. I have liked the Disney Animation Studios movies better than Pixar for the past few years. You know, the Wreck-It Ralph movies, the Frozen, you know, you look at the Moana, you know, you look at the recent slate of Disney Animation movies, and they've been so strong that there's no reason to think that Raya and the Last Dragon, a big epic fantasy movie, isn't going to be just as strong. So, yeah, it might be a little high for a lot of people, especially given the lack of information we have about it. But I've got faith in Disney Animation Studios right now, and I'm going to continue to have faith until they put out a bad movie, which, to be fair, Raya might be. So number 10. Number 10 is Birds of Prey. All right? Say what you will about the fact that it's not necessarily staying true to the source material. I still love the Harley Quinn character. I love the Harley Quinn character. I got myself a Harley Quinn comic book today. I've got all of the comic books of Harley Quinn. So I love the Harley Quinn character. And, you know, the reality is that this movie would have never been made. We would have never gotten a Birds of Prey movie if it wasn't for the fact that Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn was attached to it. So we either get this version of Birds of Prey or we get no versions of Birds of Prey. Personally, sign me up for a version of Birds of Prey. So, and I love Margot Robbie, and I love her version of Harley Quinn. So, that is my number 10. Number 9. Number 9 is Black Widow. It's our second MCU movie of the year. And while Black Widow is a character that I've never really wanted a movie for, like, I love the character, but I've never really been clamoring for a Black Widow movie. I know a lot of people have, but I haven't. But at the same time, this looks really interesting. This looks really interesting, especially David Harbour and the Red Guardian character. That looks really interesting. You know, exploring that timeline between Civil War and Infinity War. That's a timeline that's definitely ripe for some good storytelling. So I'm definitely looking forward to Black Widow. It's my number 9. Number 8, another comic book movie, Venom 2. Venom took me by surprise. I did not expect to like it, and I really liked it a lot. Just Tom Hardy's portrayal of Eddie Brock was endearing, and it was funny. His interaction with the symbiote was funny. You know, it was a good, funny, action-packed adventure movie. And no reason to think that this movie with Carnage in it isn't going to be just as good. You know, there's a lot of rumors going around that Tom Holland is going to cameo as Spider-Man. Sign me up. Sign me up. Definitely looking forward to Venom 2. That's my number 8. Number 7, Free Guy. Free Guy starring Ryan Reynolds. It looks hilarious. This is a movie that I had no expectations for. I wasn't looking forward to it at all until the trailer came out. Once the trailer came out, I was about it. And Ryan Reynolds is hilarious, and this looks like something that could be really good. Now, can they stretch the premise out for a whole movie? I don't know. We'll have to find that out. But as far as being excited for it, I'm really excited for it. It's my number 7. Number 6. Number 6 is Dune. I'm not very familiar with the literature that Dune is based on, but I did see the movie that came out in the 80s. I think it was the 80s. And, you know, it's a movie that my parents watched a lot, so I watched it a lot. So I'm pretty familiar with Dune in that context. I don't know if it is very, I don't know whether that original one is faithful to the source material, but given the cast, given the director, given the epic scope of this story, yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to Dune quite a bit. It's my number 6. We are here at the top 5 now, The top 5 movies I'm looking forward to in 2020. Number 5 is Coming to America 2. Coming to America is one of those movies I grew up with. Like, when I think about Eddie Murphy, I think of Beverly Hills Cop, and I think of Coming to America. Those are the two. And Coming to America is so funny. It's so funny. Even today, Coming to America has aged well, and it is still really funny. And there's a lot they can do with the character today Putting him in today's context and modern context, how race relations are today, how foreign relations are today. There's a lot that they can do with the character, and definitely looking forward to seeing Coming to America 2. Can't wait until Christmas. I think it's gonna be a great Christmas present for everybody. Seeing Eddie Murphy back at the top of his form, hopefully. Number four. Number four is Godzilla vs. Kong. Yeah, I know they moved the release date from March to November. Hopefully that just means that they want to make the best movie that they can and make those special effects knock us out. All right. I loved Godzilla King of the Monsters. I thought it was great. I know a lot of people didn't. I know a lot of people did not love Godzilla King of the Monsters, but I did. I loved Kong Skull Island. Godzilla 2014 was a little slow. Wasn't really the movie I wanted it to be. But Kong was good. Godzilla King of the Monsters was so much fun. And yeah, if they've been building up to have this big culmination battle between Kong and Godzilla, I can't wait. King Kong versus Godzilla, the original one, I wore that VHS out when I was a kid. I wore it out when I was a kid. Just the concept of these two titans going at it. It captured the child imagination in me. And it still does. So that's why it's my number four. Number three. The trailer for this movie just came out. A Quiet Place Part 2. I loved A Quiet Place. It was my number 2 movie the year it came out. I think 2018, right? I think. It was my number 2 movie the year it came out. I adored A Quiet Place, and the trailer was great. So I can't wait to see A Quiet Place 2, and I'm hoping for big things. Number 2. My number 2 movie is Wonder Woman 1984. I adore Wonder Woman, the first one. Patty Jenkins did such a great job bringing this character to the screen. Chris Pine played such a great Steve Trevor. Wonder Woman being the fish out of water was so much fun. And now, in the sequel, Chris Pine, Steve Trevor, is going to be the fish out of water to Wonder Woman. So they definitely flipped that on its side. And, the casting choice for Cheetah was a little questionable, but I trust Patty Jenkins to make the best Wonder Woman movie that she can. And I like the first one so much that I'm really looking forward to Wonder Woman 1984. It's my number 2. But my number 1 movie that I'm most anticipated for, the one I'm most excited for, the one that I can't wait for, more than any of them, is a movie I've been waiting for 30 plus years. And that is Ghostbusters Afterlife. A true Ghostbusters 3. I was so disappointed in the 2015 remake. I was so disappointed in it. And I understand some people like it, but not me. I was so disappointed in it. My kids like it. So I have it on Blu-ray and on streaming. My kids watch it. And I just kind of lower my head in shame because I allow it in my house. But I don't want to bash on that. Let's talk about Ghostbusters Afterlife. The trailer was phenomenal. It hit all the right nostalgic buttons, hit all the right nostalgic beats, but it's telling its own story. It's telling its story. It's progressing the story, but showing reverence to the original stories. That's what I love about Cobra Kai. That's what I love about some of these new franchises that are out, like The Mandalorian. They're telling their own story. They're progressing the story, but they are showing reverence to what came before. And that looks like what Ghostbusters Afterlife is going to be doing. It's a true third movie in the franchise. The first 2 movies happened, and I'm super excited. The trailer showed the Shandor Mining Company. I'm pretty sure we saw a terror dog. Gozer's going to be the bad guy in this. And yes! What else is there to say? I've been waiting so long for this third Ghostbusters movie. I've been fantasizing about a third Ghostbusters movie since I was a kid. And now it's coming. And it's coming this year. So I'm super excited about Ghostbusters. But I'm excited about all these on the list. And there's other movies I really look forward to that aren't even on this list. Morbius is one of them. I can't wait to see Morbius. It's not in my top 25. And there's several others that I can't wait to see that didn't make my top 25. But those are the 25 I'm most looking forward to. How about you? What movies are you most looking forward to in 2020? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear what you think. And thank you for being here at the LQ Review, where we talk about all the geeky, nerdy stuff we love to talk about. And until next time, we'll see you later.